Good morning, hobby world. What's up, Herman? Herman, apologies to Herman for stealing his opening line. What's up? Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hobby Evolution episode 664. Welcoming into the almost weekend. Going to talk about my tooth. An update on the tooth that fell out. It chipped. You can kind of see this one right here. My wife, so after the show, I told my wife that I chipped my tooth, and of course she like gasps, and she's like, which one? And I'm like, oh, right up front. And she's like, okay, you are calling the dentist because I love you, but I don't want you missing a front tooth. So I did call the dentist. I got in, so I'll talk about that. Johnny Boy Cards, good morning. Victor, happy Friday. Herman says, check out the sales of Spencer Strider cards this morning. I don't think I have any. I'm sure I have a ton of like rookie card, like just base Topps rookie cards. Probably some Bowman. When was his first Bowman? I'll have to go dig through my Bowman boxes, see if I have any. I'm sure I do. I probably even have some first Bowman refractors because I think he was 2020. So I'll have to do some. See, that's the unfortunate thing about not being organized is Spencer Strider strikes out. What did he finish with? Was it like 16? It's like, oh, go find your Spencer Strider cards. I don't know where they're at because there's just boxes and boxes and boxes. None of them are labeled, and if they are labeled, they're labeled incorrectly. So that's the downside to just having bulk upon bulk and nothing's organized. Now my for sale inventory, my eBay store, that's like super organized. But the non-stuff is the non-store inventory not organized. Mark Hoyle, good morning. David, happy long weekend. Yeah. See, I forget that it's a 3-day weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. Working at home for myself, I forget these things. Like, oh yeah, it's Labor Day. I have a card show on Sunday. I'll be set up at the Janesville Card Show. It's right along the interstate. Holiday Inn Convention Center. So I think over 100 tables. And I'll have my 25-cent boxes, probably even have some new stuff that hasn't been at a card show before. I got to remember to bring my hockey because the hockey guys came up to my table in Rockford. The show that I see them that I don't have my hockey. Usually I don't have hockey, and then I brought hockey, and then I forgot the hockey. And I'm like, are you coming to the Janesville show? Because I'll have my hockey boxes. So let's see where we at in the chat. David, happy long weekend. Paige and Deanie Bean, good morning to you. Terry Alexander, good morning. Johnny Boy Card says he helped my fantasy team last night. Oh yeah, I imagine strikeouts like that. I picked up, I just had a streamer, Ken Waldachuk, who was a top prospect in the Yankees organization. Where's he at now? Oakland. But I picked him up as a streaming option because I was my pitching rotation's been kind of out of whack with injuries and just sucking. So I picked up Ken Waldachuk. No decision. I think he had like 6 strikeouts, low ERA, so he did help. It was a good streaming because there weren't too many games yesterday, so it was a decent streaming pickup for my starters. But I'm still losing this matchup. I'm like on the fringe. My fantasy baseball team is, I think I'm tied for 7th place or 8th place. Can't remember, but I'm like still like I'm right on the cusp of 16 playoff. I'm right on the cusp. I think I'm tied for 7th. So it's like tiebreaker gets in the playoffs. Loser of the tiebreaker gets the first pick in next year's draft. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm just like plugging along, and it's been a disappointing fantasy baseball season. Randy says, I bought 3 cards off you this week. Looking forward to getting them. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cooter says, good morning. At least your dentist answered. That was it. Not only did they answer, they got me in same day. I went to the dentist yesterday, which I was not expecting because I had to cancel my cleaning appointment in March because, they schedule them 6 months out. And like, how I roll. I don't schedule things 6 months out. And then I forget. And then I planned my spring training trip, and it happened to fall during the week of my dentist appointment. And it's a cleaning. So it's not like it was open heart surgery. So called the dentist, and I'm like, hey, I've got a cleaning appointment on, March 10th or whatever it was. I'm going to be in Arizona. Can I postpone it? Can I push it back? And they look, and they're like, okay. And then they're like looking, and I can hear pages turn. Maybe. Actually, I probably didn't hear pages turn. This is 2022. I probably just heard a lot of clicks. And but it was a while. It took a while. And finally she goes, our next open appointment is in October. And I go, October? Like, I think I was calling probably at the end of February for an appointment that was 2 weeks out. And they're like, yeah, we can put you on a list. I'm like, geez, zooks. Okay, I guess let's just put it down for October, put me on the list and get me in when you can. But when they call you, it's like it's like, hey, we have an appointment in an hour. Can you make it? And it's like, no, not for a cleaning. No. So my cleaning was still like, I hadn't had a cleaning since last October, probably. So after my conversation with my wife, who strongly suggested I call the dentist, we also had to go to, so it was a busy day. We were heading to the appliance store to pick out our appliances for the new house. And which, speaking of backups, appliances are even more backed up than dentist appointments. Our refrigerator, it's September. It was September 1st yesterday. Our refrigerator will come in July or August of next year, and we move in May or June. So we'll have my beer fridge as a fridge, and whatever they have in the house. So we'll put it together. So we drove separate because my mother-in-law was also going, and I'm like, this could be a long appointment, and I'll just go like do the important stuff, and then like any of the other stuff, I'll let you guys talk it out. So we drove separate. I call the dentist, and they're like, oh yeah, we just had can you come in at 12:30? And so it's like 11:15. As I'm driving, our appointment at the appliance store was 11:30. So I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. It gives me an easy out. I'll get the important stuff taken care of. Like, okay, these are the options. Okay, I like that one, that one, that one. Boom, I can go. And then my wife makes the decision. And I just nod my head. Yes, that looks great. So I got in, and they're like, well, we can do, we'll do your cleaning since you're due for a cleaning. We'll do your cleaning and have the doctor come in and look at the tooth. So had my cleaning done, and a new dental hygienist, or not new, but just has not done my teeth. We're talking, and I'm like, she asked what I did. I said, she's like, do you have to go back to work? And I'm like, yeah, I always work. I work for myself. I sell baseball cards. And she's like, oh my God, that's so cool. She's like, my husband has a whole bunch of cards like in the garage, and we were just talking about getting rid of them a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, well, here's my card. Have him call me. So, and also her grandfather, she gets talking, and her grandfather played on the 1941 Chicago Bears championship team. His name was Bob Nowaski. He played for the Bears and then later the Baltimore Colts. So then I got home and I like looked up his career, and unfortunately, he passed away early at a young age, only like 53. Had a heart attack while he was driving too. So sad ending, but an interesting story nonetheless. Are you getting some funky lighting in here? I feel like there's a light that's very bright. I just feel like there's some weird lighting going on. So, I got my cleaning done. My teeth look good, except for, they did the X-ray on the tooth. They could tell, oh yeah, it's chipped. Like it's chipped on the. Fortunately, it's chipped on the backside. And I'm like, this is the original tooth. You heard the story yesterday. Riding my bike, goofing off, hit the concrete. Dr. Tom put it back. Put a fake tooth in there 30 years ago. It was probably 1992 when this happened. I know it was either 91, 92, or 93 because I was in that. I know I was in that age, in those ages. So it held up. And I think maybe because it does look a little like crooked, I think maybe a little piece has fallen out here and there. Maybe that's why I have nightmares about my teeth falling out. It's from like a little chip comes out. But yesterday was a decent sized chip. You may have seen it when I showed it. Anyway, so they can get me in probably taking my old cleaning appointment, but the doctor the dentist is available in about a month, I guess. So I'll get it taken care of. So fortunately, it's not like I'm missing a tooth. So yeah. So that's my tooth story. Cooter lost a tooth. I don't know if the tooth fairy came and visited last night, but he could not get into the dentist. Cooter, good luck. And hopefully you can get into the dentist soon. Randy says I bought 3. Oh, we got that. Thank you, Randy. Brian says good morning, fantasy football draft weekend. I'm feeling a little FOMO on fantasy football. I suck and I don't really enjoy fantasy football. But I love the draft, especially when you go to Buffalo Wild Wings and do the live draft, drink beer, eat wings. That's fun. The rest of it kind of sucks because I don't really follow the NFL that much. And I have the games on, but I just don't care. And then I'm not good at fantasy football, so I don't like losing. So losing at fantasy football and the pay-in that I had, the cash that I lay out at the beginning. Mark took today off. He's got a 4-day weekend. 16 strikeouts for Spencer Strider last night. Happy Friday, Ed. 4-day weekend, and happy anniversary to Ed and his wife. Herman says he was only 2 away from breaking Spawn's record. Good morning, Zach and Porter. Paige and Deanie Bean says Dean wants to know what kind of coffee you are drinking. Today, this is Door County. Door County coffee. This is, I think this is peanut butter crunch, which is kind of my go-to. I kind of mix it up. Dunkin', like the Dunkin' that you buy from the store. Peanut butter crunch from Door County, and then Highlander grog from Door County. And then sometimes I'll mix it up with, there was a hazelnut I tried recently from, I don't know if it was Steep and Brew, but it was one of those national brands. So today is peanut butter crunch from Door County. It's very good. Let's see. Dave Pearson, what is up? Good morning. Jenny says I'm late and I got to leave in 5 minutes. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Zach says, of course there is funky lights twitching. It's the curse. It's the shine from the new tooth. Do we call those blinking lights the bow strobe? Yeah, right. I don't know what's going on. And when I look at the lights, none of them are because we did have one go out. These are like lifetime lights, are not lifetime guarantees. Like these are supposed to like 18 years is what these lights. The one in the hallway, which is not on right now, but it's back there, up there. It went out like in 2 months after moving into this house, and they're like guaranteed for 18 years. And we have one upstairs that just went out also. And it's only been, this house is what, 5 years old? 5 years, 6 years. 6 years. And how do I remember that? Cubs World Series. We moved in 1 month after the Cubs World Series win. Those lights flicker when Frank's cameras turn on. I have not seen I haven't been outside though. I mowed. I did see Frank when I mowed, but I guess I was in the backyard playing with the dog. My neighbor on the other side. So Frank's on that side, and over on this side is my other neighbors, and they have I think it's is the French bulldog the ones that are like smaller and have their faces pushed in? Because the American bulldog is like the British bulldog, like Matilda, WWF. Like, isn't that the American bulldog? And that's also my alma mater, Western Illinois, Rocky, from the mascot for the Fighting Leathernecks. Anyway, I think they have a French bulldog, and he's a big, or she, I guess it's Hope. She is a big, and her tongue's always like way out there. She's very old, blind, probably, I think she's deaf, but she can see enough. If she's pointing in the right direction, she can see. So I think she was at the window at their sliding back door, and I think she could hear my dog Biscuit barking as we were tossing the toy. And so they let Hope out. Hope came out. And my dog just doesn't. My dog is not a dog person. My dog is a human person. So when we go out for walks, my dog wants to like sniff the human, and the other dog is like, "Hey, let's play." And my dog is like, "Get away from me. I want to talk to your human." So my dog goes over there, and Hope wants to like sniff Biscuit and play with Biscuit, and Biscuit's like, "Leave me alone. I want to go sniff your whatever." So that was last night. Didn't see Frank though. Zach says, what will happen sooner, Cubs World Series appearance or Bears Super Bowl appearance? Oh. Did you have to bring that up on a Friday, Zach? What happens first? My goodness. I'm gonna go out and say a Bears Super Bowl appearance. I think a Bears Super Bowl appearance happens sooner. I don't know. I mean, and I think because, and here's why I think that. I think in football, it's easier to go from worst to first. The NFL, like, how often do you see a team that just sucks go to like a Super Bowl contender like the following year? Sometimes it's a surprise. Like, it's just like, holy crap, this sucky team last year finished 4-12, and now they're 11-1, and they're a Super Bowl contender. So I think in the NFL, I don't want to say it's easier, but it's more common. And in baseball, it's like a slow build. And there are teams that go from worst to first in baseball, but it's less common in Major League Baseball than the NFL. And right now, with what the Cubs are doing or not doing, I just don't know. Like, when Theo Epstein came in, he made a plan, and he goes, this is our plan, and there is no plan B. And it worked. It worked for 1 year. We got a World Series. Awesome. Cubs fans thought there was going to be more to follow. That didn't happen. And then it was just a decline. And now it's like, we're not offering Wilson Contreras a new contract. He's on the trading block. And then he didn't get traded. And it's like, okay, are you re-signing him? What's going on? What's the plan? And it seems like there isn't a plan. So I say Bears Super Bowl appearance happens before a Cubs World Series appearance. Let's see. Kyle, what is up, Kyle? He says, wait, your dog's name is Biscuit, not Wrigley or Banks or Sandberg or Don Zimmer. So Biscuit is my wife's dog. So my wife has had Biscuit since before my wife and I met. So even though if we were to get another dog, it would probably not be named after, my wife would veto that. My wife would veto. We did a trial. We did a trial last summer on a second dog. My wife at all, we need a second dog. We need a second. I'm like, no, one dog is hard enough. Um, and I can't. And dogs are easy. Like people with kids, like how do you do it? Like if I want to go, like run to the card shop or run to Target or Costco, like I can just be like, oh, Biscuit's got water, put her on the couch, and she's just gonna hang out for a couple hours. You can't do that with a kid. It's like, what do? You got to take the kid with you. That's annoying. So anyway, so yeah, so we had a trial with a second dog, and it was like it was a disaster. And the dog's name was very cute dog, but man, and it was one of those like I love dogs. I love dogs, and this was the cutest dog ever. And his name was Pierre, and he was like a white, kind of a mix, but little big. He was going to be a bigger dog. Like we're like we want a 20 pound or less dog, and I think Pierre was going to be closer to 40. And he was a puppy, and he was not potty trained, and all of this was unknown to us. And it's like maybe it's just a phase. He's getting used to this new house. And he wasn't, dogs are loving. Usually, most dogs are like loving. And Pierre was like a very small amount of the time. Like he did cuddle with me the one night he spent with us. But the rest of the other, like the waking hours, he was kind of a little terror, but he was a puppy. And we're just not puppy people. So, and it was like most dogs, it's like you fall in love with a dog. Like I can fall in love with a dog within like, as soon as I see a dog and I start petting him, I'm like, I want this dog. Can I have your dog? It wasn't like that with Pierre. It was like, Pierre's so cute, but oh, he's such a little heathen. So fortunately, Pierre, and we were going to name, we were going to keep his name Pierre. And then so it was through like an adoption. He was like a Texas, I think he was found on the streets just as a little guy on the streets of Houston, and then they bring him up. And so his adopted, temporary adopted family, very active, with kids, like older kids, like high school age. One was in college, or maybe, I think 2 in high school, 1 in college. They camp, fish, all that stuff. Very active. The kids were in sports. And it's like when we picked him up to take him, it just like, it was almost like we were like, what did we just do? And like my feeling when we left was almost like they were thinking the same thing. Like, what did we just do? We just gave our loving puppy away. And we're just like, what did we just do? We just took on this second dog. And our dog is going to hate it because our dog's very spoiled, and like she is like the queen of the house. She did not take well to Pierre. She did not like Pierre at all. So now we're stuck in this limbo. Like we adopted a dog, and we don't want to adopt this dog. What do we do? And we feel so bad that this poor puppy is getting moved around from place to place. But it's like, it's not a good fit for either the dog or us. For best case scenario happened. We reached out to the organization we adopted it from. We talked with the foster family that had them. The foster family adopted Pierre, and they did rename him though. But that was best case scenario. It was basically ironically, they were taking their daughter to move in to college that like weekend or that week or whatever it was. So it was basically like we just babysat Pierre for 2 days, and then he went home. So now he has a loving home with a family that can keep up with him. So it all ended well. And we realized we're a 1 puppy household. I agree with Ken. Dogs are greater than kids. Absolutely. Let's see. Victor says, I think a Cubs World Series appearance, the Bears are way out from even winning their division. Zach and Porter says, more parity in the NFL. Zach says, good chance Mrs. Bo had naming rights contract. Let's see. Victor's puppy is named Rhino. That's awesome. Cooter says, duct tape is great for short errands. Just kidding. Maybe. Zach and Porter says, we are couch people, not puppy people. Self-awareness is key, right? We are couch people. And that's in reality, that's what it came down to. It's like, we cannot keep up with a puppy that's very active. And if this dog is going to grow into an active dog, we also I take Biscuit for walks every day and I'll play with her in the backyard. And that's good. Like she will sleep in if my wife sleeps until 10:30, Biscuit will lay in bed and sleep until 10:30. If my wife's with her mom in Florida and it's just me and Biscuit and I wake up at 5:30, Biscuit will wake up at 5:30 and then she naps most of the day. But she's just like, go with the flow. And she's like, if it's raining and we can't go outside and play, I'm cool. I'll just hang out on the couch all day. So Biscuit is also, she's a couch dog. We are couch people. She's a couch dog. Zach's got to catch up later. Have a great Friday. You as well. So talked a little football. So college football, we had some good games on last night. Ken says, Stella was a hellion when we got her. Chew the elbow out of my favorite hoodie and destroyed my wife's favorite Stars hat. Well, I'm glad Stella grew out of that. Anxiety had anxiety. She come to find she has anxiety and it went away. That's good. That's good. So we had some football last night. Ken had some football last night. The backyard brawl. West Virginia and Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh won that game. Or did West Virginia win that game? It was a close game. I remember looking at the score. I did not watch that game. Don't talk about that game. So I assume Pittsburgh won. Pittsburgh won 38-31. Close game. Oklahoma State shootout against Central Michigan, 58-44. Penn State Purdue, that's the game that I had on. Penn State won by 4. Sean Clifford, quarterback of the Nittany Lions, threw for 4 touchdowns. He is in Bowman U. Let's see. And then the game that I was most interested in was in the FCS. We had my alma mater, Western Illinois. They were down at Tennessee Martin last night. So I listened to the first half on radio, it was like the online radio. I think they were down 21-7 at halftime. Ended up losing my alma mater. Western lost 42-25. Looks like they had a quarterback battle though. The starter did not fare too well. Ogala, 12 of 19 for 105 yards, touchdown and a pick. Nick Davenport came in, went 9 for 19, 180 yards, and threw 3 touchdowns against 1 interception. Let's see. Ken says our head coach pulled defeat out of the jaws of victory. That is no good. So there's some big games coming up on Saturday, so I'm excited. I did open, as I turned on the Penn State Purdue game, I opened 2 Bowman U blasters. Where did I put the singles? Oh, and I don't think I pulled anything big out of the 2 blasters. I've opened a few here and there. I've actually pulled this week in the random blasters I've opened. I pulled a Braylon Allen lava refractor numbered to like 199, and then I pulled CJ Stroud. It was a lava refractor, I think numbered to 99 of CJ Stroud. So that was a big hit. So I'll just wait. When does Ohio State? I know Wisconsin, Braylon Allen, they played this Saturday against Illinois State. Let's see. Ohio State. Let's look top 25 for Saturday. There's some big games. Number 11, Oregon at number 3, Georgia. And Ohio State plays Notre Dame. Notre Dame's number 5. Number 5, Notre Dame at number 2, Ohio State. That's at 6:30 on Saturday. Let's see. Oh, Illinois State, Wisconsin's at 6. I didn't realize that was. Oh, my dentist did say it was a late game, and because he alluded to a long day of tailgating. The Oregon Georgia game's a 2:30 game. So there's what's on at 11. There's not much going on at 11. Only 3 games kick off at 11 on Saturday. That's a rarity. But I guess in top 25 football. Texas A&M, Michigan, and North Carolina State, and they all play cupcakes at 11. Terry Alexander sold a CJ Stroud pink overnight. Nice. I've been perusing the Bowman U sold listings, and since I did list like 400 singles, I have been moving quite a few singles. I just packed one up. Bijan Robinson, by the way, I think he's a running back at Texas. Has an NIL with Mustard Company, and it's what the heck is it? I saw it on ESPN yesterday. It is freaking hilarious, and I'm not much of a mustard guy. By the way, we have the world's, I think it's the World Mustard Museum is right here in my backyard in Middleton, Wisconsin. Bijan, it's called Bijan Mustardson. I love that. Bijan Mustardson. So it's a Dijon play on Bijan Robinson. Bijan Mustardson. How cool. I love the NIL. Paige and Deanie Bean says, I think you should rip one right now. I think that's a great idea because it's Friday. I think we ripped one last Friday. That's a great idea. I'll let me get caught up on the chat and I'll rip one. With the season, the Red Sox have had college and NFL football as a godsend. Victor says Michigan is an early game. Card Hobbyist says, I don't like preseason rankings of college teams outside of the top 3-4. It's a crapshoot. I agree with that. It's just kind of there. It's more for the sports writers to like rank teams. That's all it is. Royals 417 betting in Kansas started yesterday. Very nice. It's kind of like, and it's even more of a crapshoot. I'm wearing a high school football hoodie. Sports writers rank high school teams preseason, and it's like, in my alma mater, we had, especially in the early 90s, we had some like state championship contending teams. And one year, I think it was 93 or 4, we had like graduated everybody, but we made like a deep run in the playoffs. I think we made either the quarterfinals or semifinals, and we were ranked number 1 preseason the following year, but we had lost like all the starters, but there was a run, like we had been like a quarterfinalist, like for like 8 years in a row or something. And we made the semifinals a couple times in that span, never made it to the state championship game, but we made these deep runs year after year after year. But when those runs of really talented players came to an end, we were ranked number 1 preseason. And I don't think we made the playoffs that. I think we were 5-4, and this was before classes expanded in Illinois. And I think we went 5-4 and missed the playoffs, and we were a preseason number 1. And it's like everybody in town was like, why are the sports writers ranking us number 1? So it is a crapshoot. Okay, so Paige and Deanie Bean says bottom row, second box from left. So bottom row, second from the left. Okay, so I haven't been in the card room for a while, so I've ripped some. So the top shelf has a bottom. The top shelf has a couple rows. The middle shelf is like completely full. And then the bottom shelf, I only have like 4 boxes, and they're all in one row. So do you want me to take the bottom row? You make it difficult for me. The bottom row of the middle shelf, because that has the most boxes. I'll do that. I'll do middle row, middle shelf, bottom row, second from the left. So I'll be back. I got to squeeze out of this chair. Okay, so I did pull this one out of the middle shelf. Middle shelf, bottom row, second from left. And I did cut it. Have you ever tried to like open these with like your hands? I tried that to one of these boxes, and the box was mangled because I chew my fingernails. So it's like I'll try it, and it's like super. I'll probably get it. Yeah. So this one ripped first time. So here we go. I also want to share this morning some more finds from my Goodwill pallet. Nothing huge, but some fun stuff that you never know. You dip, Daniel? You dip? Oh. Ed is heading out. Have a great weekend. You too. Thanks for stopping in, Ed. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend. So we've got Nick Starkle. You dip, Ed? You dip? De'Eric King, Miami Hurricanes. Hey, CJ Stroud, insert card. This is 2KB. I don't know what these inserts are called. And Mijay Mijai Sanders, defensive end. I'm not sure where he plays. Sometimes I can tell by the uniform because they're airbrushed. But sometimes you can tell what school they are. So here's Penn State Nittany Lions quarterback Sean Clifford. 4 touchdowns last night, threw for just under 300 yards in a winning matchup against the Purdue Boilermakers. Kenneth Walker out of Michigan State, running back. Here's our first pink. It's Desmond Ridder, who is now in the NFL. Set this aside so I can sleeve him. We've got Florida Gators. I think he's Florida Gators. Quarterback Emory Jones. Terry says the inserts are 2000 Bowman design. Ah, nice. And we've got Kayshon Boutte, LSU Tigers wide receiver. I saw a mock draft, like one of the really early mock drafts, and they had Kayshon Boutte going to the Chicago Bears at like pick number 5. And of course, that's early mock drafts mean absolutely nothing because you don't know the draft order. The college football season hasn't even begun, let alone the draft work combine. That's the word I'm looking for. Malik Cunningham. What I love about Bowman U football is it's loaded with quarterbacks like Matt Corral, who's also in the NFL. So this product has Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral, and Kenny Pickett as quarterbacks that are now in the NFL. Jalen Wittermeyer, tight end. Is he Texas A&M? Looks like a Texas A&M uniform. Cade Otton, a tight end. I think he might be Washington Huskies, University of Washington. And this is just a fun rip. I really enjoy these cards. Jaden Reed. And I mean, I've been selling the base singles, the paper base singles for $2 on eBay. Here we've got, Desmond Ridder. First Bowman. We've got another pink. Ooh, it's a good one. CJ Stroud, pink refractor, Ohio State Buckeyes. So my strategy on Bowman on like the paper base was just list them because the paper base aren't going to fluctuate in value. You know, it's not like, you know, if they peak, I think the peak on somebody gets super hot is maybe $5 on a paper base. So I just don't think there's fluctuation, but like on an auto, on a refractor, on color, I think there's a lot of room to grow from where prices are at right now. So that's my strategy where it's like, I'll list the paper base, and that's why I listed, 400 of those earlier this week, just to capitalize and get, recoup some of the money that I've spent on these blasters. You dip, Daniel? You dip? Mike Harley, wide receiver. That's the new, you dip Daniel is the new Brandon Cooks of 99. Here's a refractor of Mackenzie Milton. Brandon Cooks to 99 as he plays Brandon Cooks of 99 as I swap cards out. All right. You dip, Daniel? Jaden Hazelwood. I think he's Alabama. Clemson Tigers, Justin Ross. I should know because I should know these teams because I listed basically all of them in my eBay store. Here's another pink. It's Sam Howell, who is now in the NFL. I can't remember. The only quarterback that I remember is Kenny Pickett, Steelers. And I think Ritter is Falcons. And I think one of those guys is Titans. I can't remember. Or Panthers. I can't remember. And we've got Jalen Watson. Okay, one more pack to go. Let's money. Let's get some good stuff on this one. We just got a regular refractor. Looks like it's going to be a pink. Although I have pulled my hits have all come in the pink packs. So Matt Corral. Oh, no auto. Just a regular pink in this one. Got James Cook. The pink is Jerome Ford. And we've got Braylon Allen. Wisconsin Badgers. Go Badgers. Go Bucky. And Tyler Beatty. I did sell a Tyler Beatty base card this week. So we did pull a CJ Stroud pink. So which way do I go? There we go. So Cooter wants to hear my backyard breaks impersonations. Well, I've got to take my shirt off and do a belly shirt. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about today? I talked about my tooth, talked about college football. We ripped a box. Let's talk Goodwill pallet. Oh, before I talk Goodwill pallet, later today, I'm going to be talking with Ty from Bench Clear Media. So that interview will be on Bench Clear Media at some point. We're going to talk eBay efficiencies selling on eBay. And it's always awesome talking with Ty, talking eBay sales. And I got to get the lowdown on his 6 million card collection. I might have to tell him that I'm looking at flights to Idaho to help him sort. That's like my dream. 6 million cards. It's my dream, my wife's nightmare. And that would my house isn't big enough for my space. My card space is not big enough for 6 million cards. I could fit it in here, but no, I couldn't because it would either be because if I tried, my wife would put a kibosh to it, and I'd have to find a new house. But that's my dream. 6 million cards. I'd have to get a storage unit. Which the storage unit, they're building a storage unit a couple blocks away, a big climate controlled storage facility, and it's like, just as I'm moving out of the neighborhood. Would have been I could have bought a wagon. I could use my landscaping wagon that I pull my plants in the backyard with. I could have just toted that down the sidewalk, waved to the neighbors. Hey, Frank, taking my baseball cards to the storage shed. So just in time. But speaking of, so look for that Bench Clear Media. I'll be talking with Ty about eBay efficiencies. So be on the lookout for that here in the next few days. My own big purchases, the Goodwill pallet this week, which is slowing down my listing and shipping and listing, because now I have to throw in sorting and dragging cards down into the basement. I said yesterday there's a binder that I showed on camera. It's like, it's a video. It'll take me 2 minutes. I created the thumbnail already, and I just haven't spent the 2 minutes to do a video. So I have been yesterday was just kind of thrown in flux with a chipped tooth. And then so it's just been all over the place. And I wanted to I could have hit 20,000 listings in my eBay store on probably Tuesday night or Wednesday, and I just didn't. And so I'm hovering close to 20,000 listings. I did list some of the WNBA cards, autos and relics, the Main and Rayum auto. Those are in my eBay store. I listed those while I watched Penn State Purdue, some of that game last night. But I do need to do a big update or a big addition just to hit that 20,000. I'd like to do that September 2nd. I'd like to hit that 20,000, and I have another 16 days left of my Card Dealer Pro monthly allotment of 10,000 to get to. And I also want to find out what's going on with the impressions. I have looked the last couple days. My impressions are up considerably. And I made a spreadsheet, and I must have closed it and not saved it, or did I use my Google sheet? Apparently, I did not use my Google sheet. Yeah, damn it. I wonder if because I spent the time. Ooh, document recovery. Thank you, Excel, for document recovery. Just hopefully it's recovering the right document. It is. So my impressions just varied wildly throughout the month of August, but it did start. So I started to see a pretty steep decline in the middle of August. So it went all the way from the lowest. I had a stretch where it was in the 400,000 on a daily basis. So my daily impressions in the month of August varied from 488,000 up to 723,000. And the last few days has been between 600 and 650,000. So it does seem like it's going in the right direction when I start to look at, even though when I look at, let's see, my impressions over the last 30 days, it's still down drastically compared to the month prior. So I may go back this weekend and look at my July impressions to see. Yeah, my traffic impressions are down 24%. So I need to go back in July because that's when at one point I was at like 24 million impressions over a 30-day period. Now it's at like 17 million. So keeps going down. Let's see. Brian says backyard are the bad guys in the Revenge of the Nerds half hoodie. The hoodie I'm wearing, Bushnell Prairie City, they play 8-man now, which is crazy. That it's crazy how times have changed. And I don't know if this is like if parents are not allowing their children to play football, with the concussion concerns. And I love football, but if I had a kid, I don't know if I would let them play football. And that's here I am, love football, but I don't know. And I think that probably has a lot to do with it, where the 8-man football is really taking off in the state of Illinois. Just a few years ago, it was like there were like 10 teams, 12 teams. Now there's like divisions, and I think there's like 60. It's really increased. And you look at there's a few examples right around central Illinois, Bushnell Prairie City. They were this is 2A playoffs. 2000, what year was this? 2007. I think they went to the quarterfinals in this season. 2A. So in Illinois, it's 8 classes. 8A is the largest, and then 1A is the smallest. And so 2A, they weren't even a small school, small co-op at the time, and now don't have the numbers to field a 1A team. Now their enrollment probably falls into 1A now, and don't have the numbers to, 15 years ago they were 2A, making a run to the quarterfinals. Now they can't even field 11-man team. They're playing 8-man, and I think they got beat pretty bad last night. They played an 8-man Thursday night game. If there's also a referee shortage, And so there's a lot of Thursday night games, and more Saturday games than there used to be because of the referee shortage. So it's insane. For selfish reasons, I want my alma mater, Anawan High School. I want them to play 8-man football because I miss Anawan Braves football. They're co-oping with a rival from when I was in high school, Wethersfield. They were the Wethersfield Flying Geese, and so they co-op. They're the Anawan Wethersfield Titans. They have a really good program, and they were probably a state championship contender during the COVID year, and COVID wiped it out. And that was probably the best chance they had at a state championship game appearance. But for selfish reasons, like I admit, my hometown only gets one football game, home game a season because Wethersfield they're the host, bigger school, better facilities. So for selfish reasons, I'd like to see the Anawan Braves come back. Even though it's Anawan Wethersfield, it's funny for me. Like when I go to my hometown and I see people wearing Anawan Wethersfield Titans stuff, it's just weird because it's like maroon and white Anawan Braves, not blue and silver Anawan Wethersfield Titans. It looks weird. I still wear Anawan Braves. You've seen my Anawan Braves Chief Anawan shirt. I've got a maroon Braves hoodie. I can't find myself wearing Anawan Wethersfield stuff. Anyway, Victor says, my kid blew up his knee in 8th grade. No way he is going to play with a bunch of screws in his knee. So now he is a football manager for his high school team at Brother Rice. Yeah, that sucks. But it's cool that, and being a manager, you learn so much. And when I worked in the athletics department at Western, the managers and the graduate assistants, they're like jack of all trades, and you learn so much about life. In football, football teaches life, like especially at the high school level, with good coaching, you learn a lot of life lessons. But I think you learn even more standing on the sidelines and helping out this coach and that coach and doing all of these things. I think, I think it's a great life. A lot of life lessons are learned in that capacity. Paige and Deanie Bean says, did you look at Sports Card Pro any further? I did not. No, I did not check that out anymore. So I was pulling out some boxes from Goodwill. Refractor Jones, what is up? Did you get my Instagram message in regards to your WNBA cards? I may have got it, but I have not seen it. So I will check that out. I am pretty bad at Instagram. Let me see. Was it sent to 1 million? It probably was sent to 1 million Cubs. So I use 1 million Cubs in Madison Card Show. Oh, wrong account. 1 million Cubs. And the reason I miss it is because it doesn't show that I have a message until I go, and then I have a request. Refractor Jones. Okay, yes. Cool. I will read that and get back to you. Thanks for letting me know. Let's see. Cooter says, I bruised my spinal cord playing football. Lucky not to be paralyzed. Only had daughters, but boys would not have played football. The older and wiser I get, the more I see. It's kind of. And I tweeted last night. It's like I'm kind of in that. I'm torn when it comes to football because I think we all grew up watching a different type of football. And I know the rules are changing for safety, which is good. But at the same time, so the play in question that I tweeted about last night during the Penn State Purdue game, one of Penn State's top linebackers, and it was the timing was so unfortunate because the broadcasters, Abdul Carter, I think is his name, linebacker, Penn State. And the broadcasters were talking about, oh, this guy, he's a stud, blah, blah, blah. He's wearing number 11, just like Micah Parsons and another Penn State linebacker that's a stud in the past. Next play, he goes in for like a stop. Unfortunately, he kind of led with the helmet. That's targeting. And they review for targeting. He's out of the game. And it's one of those situations where it's a lot like a hit on a quarterback, where it's a completely different game. And in some respects, it's good. But in some respects, it's like, how do you play? You're taught, players are taught to play a certain way. And now all of a sudden you have these rule changes. It's like, well, how does he stop and not, the player was like falling to the ground. So this player, he can't just stop in his tracks. Like when you're going in for a stop, you can't just, oh my God, if you don't lead with your helmet, you look up and how do you prevent that from happening? And in that situation, I don't think Abdul Carter could have prevented that type of hit. And this is the second quarter, and now he's out for the rest of the game. And I hate that. Now, if it's a legit, you go back and you see that a-hole from the Packers back in the 80s with the body slam of Jim McMahon. I mean, that's if that happens, you should be freaking kicked out of the league, or at the very least suspended for for a year. But these targeting, some of these targeting, it's like, I get it, it's targeting by rule, but how in the moment, how do you prevent that targeting, like in the field of play? And maybe there's ways to teach and prevent that from happening. I don't know. It's just, so I'm torn. Like, was that Martin ruined Jimbo for the season? I think so. Just freaking picked him up and body slammed him. Like, I see that every time I see that clip. I just want to reach through the TV screen and punch that guy, and hopefully as long as he didn't punch me back. Ken says, I get excited for football every year, but the way the game has evolved, I'm not a fan of. It was much better in the 80s and 90s. It was from an entertainment, from watching the game. It was definitely a more exciting, enjoyable sport. But look at the toll it took on guys, and with concussions, and it's scary. Cooter says coaches wouldn't let us have water during two-a-days. Can you imagine the hell they would catch? Oh my God, that was a thing. Like, water was a treat. Like, so many things have changed for the better. But yeah, it's there's some things that have changed, and it's like, you can't, you're in full motion going, like a hit on a quarterback. Like, you can't just stop dead in your, if the quarterback releases the ball and you're like running at a full sprint, how do you, like, you can't at the last second, like, come to a complete stop. You're still going to make contact. I just wish, it's kind of like some of the rules and the interpretations of the rules is like the post office, is like the clerks at the post office. Like, oh, nope, this has to go non-machinable, so we're going to gouge you and charge you an extra, when the person next to them is like, oh yeah, this is good. Like, they interpret the rules differently. Ken says, after the first 2 or 3 weeks, I really only watch West Virginia, Auburn, and the occasional big game. See, and I was so excited for college football. It's like, oh yes, I'm going to watch. There's actually some decent programs playing today, as opposed to this past Saturday. And I had the radio game, the Western Illinois radio on, just because Dr. Cody was, he's the color commentator. And I think Tom and I worked together 1 year. Did we work together 1 year? Or he might have been a fill-in. He always traveled with us. And But let's see who, because I traveled with the team. I did broadcasting for 3 years. Anthony, who was a former linebacker, was my color commentator the first season, I think. And then I think Mark Bloom, who was a former quarterback, was my color commentator. But I think Tom filled in for a couple games. But anyway, that's why I listen to the radio. And BJ, who's now play-by-play, I've known BJ for 15 years, so wanted to listen to the radio broadcast. So yesterday I dug through some of the Goodwill pallet and pulled some decent cards. There's like some shoe boxes, which are typically, if it's in like a 1990s looking box, it's like, oh man, this is going to be all junk wax commons. Or if it's in a 5-row box, it's probably sorted. And that's just this is now pallet number 7, and that's kind of the trend that I'm seeing within the cards. But if it's in a Ziploc bag, that's where usually the good stuff is, or in a shoe box. So there's a bunch of shoe boxes, and I found some stuff, and I love it when I post these hits. I'm not lying when I pull some of these cards. Like, it's not for clicks or for likes on Twitter. I found a Wander Franco Topps rookie card and made the post. Like, didn't take long for a Wander Franco to be the hottest card in the hobby to finding one in a Goodwill pallet. Now, yes, it made for a good tweet. And somebody goes, I call BS. It's out of place. Well, of course it's out of place. It wasn't just lying on the top, like in the picture you saw. Like, it was in the middle. It was in the pile of 2022 Topps cards, like at the bottom of the box. If I just showed you a picture of how I found the box, you wouldn't have seen the Wander Franco because it was down at the bottom. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. And so there were some, and when I get excited when I see like 2011 Topps, because there's precedent. Found the Mike Trout rookie in the first pallet. So this is a 2011. This is the blue is it blue sapphire? This is numbered out of 60. Now it's a common player, Mark. And this is a name that I can't pronounce. Oh, Topps put the pronunciation on the back. The bio is on September 27th, 2010. Mark matched Ted Lilly's Blue Jays record by striking out 6 batters in a row. In his victory over the Yankees, pronounced Zepchinski. There you go. Fan 9 and 5 innings. So Mark Zepchinski, blue sapphire, numbered to 60. This is 2013 Topps update Mike Trout. That might be worth a couple bucks. This is a rookie year Ichiro, but it unfortunately has a crease in it. And you get that a lot in Goodwill pallets. There's a dinged corner you can see at the top. It's got a crease in the middle. I don't know if you can see the crease on camera, but it's got a crease. This is from 2001. This is probably only a $3 card in mint condition, near mint condition. How about this? Rookie Gold Cup. Mike Trout. 2013 Rookie Gold Cup. We got another Gold Cup. This is Bryce Harper. This was probably the biggest hit. There's some gunk on the back. I don't know what that gunk is. This is probably the biggest hit besides the WNBA cards. This is a mini Gleyber Torres. Oh man, it's got a crease on the back. Well, it's not a big hit anymore. So this is a Gleyber Torres mini. These are numbered out of 100. It's a rookie Gold Cup. And unfortunately, it's got a crease. And again, that's what happens with the Goodwill. We've got some of the camo parallels. Reed Brignac, I think is how you pronounce his name. Brignac. These are numbered out of 99. 99. Brandon Cooks, 99. Here's a Josh Reddick, numbered out of 99. And then I didn't know there was a Japanese soccer league. I love that. Look at that. Sega. Remember the old commercial? Sega. Sega. That was the old Sega Genesis commercial. So this is a 1995 Japanese soccer league. Atsuhiko Ajiri. There were actually, I found 3 of these. Ninad Maslavar. And Antonio Benedito de Silva. So 95 Japanese soccer cards. So those are cool. So those are some of the cards that I pulled out of the Goodwill pallet yesterday. As you can see, I'm just digging through. This is what my floor looks like when I buy a Goodwill pallet. And actually, that's actually pretty clean. That's actually not as bad as what it looks. A lot of those piles I can consolidate, put into boxes, so I can get that cleaned up pretty quick. I'm over an hour, so I'm going to run, eat some breakfast, grab a cup of coffee, catch up on the chat real quick. Let's see. Where are we at? Victor says, we got that one. DR's in the house. What's up, Dan? Good morning, all. My last day on the south side, packing up my car and loading up 3 cases of junk wax era baseball and football, unopened boxes, and thousands of open 70s to 90s cards. That sounds amazing. That's the dream right there. SD, good morning. Go Cubs. They got to pull back together next year. Yeah, my dentist we were talking, my dentist I mentioned yesterday is a Cubs fan, and he's like, what are they doing? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, are they going to spend money in the offseason? Or is it going to be status quo? Card Hobbyist says, I check Twitter every day. I can only spend a max of 5 minutes there. Every other tweet is a complaint about something. I agree. and especially when you and sometimes I just get annoyed. Sometimes I get annoyed and I like get to, like, there was one guy yesterday arguing semantics. And when I looked at his profile, it's like, okay, I get it. I totally get it. I'm debating with a moron. What was he? Oh, I think it was the man in Rayum. And I'm like, because he said, and there were a few people that are like, oh my God, she signed 6,500 of those. And it's like, that was in 93, 92, 93. Like 6,500 was like super rare in the early 90s. And somebody mentioned it here in the chat, like Donruss Elite, those were numbered out of 10,000. How many of those do you see? Not many. We got the strobe going again. And so he goes, so his defense was, well, go find another one. I'm waiting. And so I looked up and I found plenty of examples of even more than 6,500. There were hand numbered autographs to 7,500 to 10,000. And those were just the first 2 examples. I'm like, well, I'll just go to 7,500 because that seems like a nice round number. And then I can't remember anyway. But yeah, when I deal with some of those accounts, it's like, I just need to take a break for half a day. Card Hobby says, you could tweet about saving kids from a burning building and someone is guaranteed to play devil's advocate. Yeah, absolutely. Gonna nitpick something. I totally agree. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. I will be live tomorrow morning, probably around 8 a.m. tomorrow, maybe 8:30. I wanted to sleep in this morning because I've been kind of going at it all day. That's the problem. When I get Goodwill pallets, it's kind of like taking vacation at your office job where it's like, yes, I've got a 4-day weekend. But when you go back in on Tuesday, you're like buried in work. And that's kind of what happens when I buy these Goodwill pallets. It's fun. It's awesome. I'm not complaining because this is my job. Like, this is how I make money. And how cool is that? Buying a pallet of cards and digging through, but it does slow me down in other aspects of what I do, like listing and shipping and listing. So I need to catch up on shipping. I do need to get some more listings up because it's been a couple days. Got to get those Car Dealer Pro listings used up. So I do need to get some shipments, try to tackle some shipping, and then I'll bring some more boxes down here and tackle that. So Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend if I don't talk to you. So I will go live tomorrow morning. Also, by the way, tomorrow morning is Hobby Hotline at 10 a.m. Central. So tune in to Hobby Hotline. I know Brad's on, the Texas Card Dude. And I think Herman's on again. Is Herman on Saturday? I don't know if Herman's still in the chat. I will not be live on Sunday. I'll be in Janesville, Wisconsin. So come out, see me if you're in the area. Janesville, Wisconsin, Sunday at the Holiday and Convention Center right along the interstate in Janesville. I'll have my quarter boxes. I'll have a whole bunch of quarter boxes. And Fall Creek, what's up? Howdy, sir. How's the missus? Let's see. And back at it. I will go live on Labor Day, Monday. Since it's a holiday, maybe I'll go a little late. Maybe I'll sleep in. We'll see. So have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the chat. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll be talking with Ty from Bench Clear Media a little bit later this morning. We're going to talk about selling on eBay and efficiencies. So always fun. So be on the lookout for that interview. Probably next. I'm sure they'll put it on next week at some point. So that'll be on Bench Clear Media. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Have a great Friday. We'll chat tomorrow.